What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we are heading back to the Gryps conflict as we dive into the manga Mobile Suit Gundam Wearwolf. In this episode, we head back to the tipping point of the Gryps conflict in UC-0087. We meet the Space Force's Hecate as they are assigned a top-secret mission. We will learn that the majority of the team is killed, and we find out what drove the entire crew to madness. So let's get into this. The Titans began their reign over the Spacenoids under the guise of hunting out anti-EFF organizations. It reaches a breaking point and the AUG is formed. While the AUG and Titans begin fighting, the Zeon remnants of Axis begin making their way back to the Earth sphere. Soon, the battle will become a three-front war. During this time, the Pegasus-class ship, the Hecate, is in the midst of a battle in the Shoal Zone near the dark side of the moon. There is absolutely no information about the Hecate, but it looks exactly like the Albion and is most likely an MSC line of Pegasus-class ships. Since the Special Forces group doesn't exist, I assume the ship doesn't exist anywhere on paper either. Their team of Rasaid are getting hit. The ship gets hit with a megaparticle cannon on the port side. Their entire second team has been wiped out. They didn't expect to get a surprise attack from the AUG on the dark side of the moon. The Hecate Executive Officer, Lieutenant Commander Okarini Ward, calls the anti-EFF remnants bastards. The captain of the Hecate, Commander Lycus Freyberg, wonders if they know of their mission. The Hecate Mobile Suit Squad leader, Lieutenant Robinson Stryker, is piloting the Pale Rider D2. The RX-80PR-4 Pale Rider D2 was designed by Augusta Labs. This unit was considered to be a replacement for the GM Quail for the Titans. This is developed from the Pale Rider de Lahan. It is kind of weird that we are talking about a version of the Pale Rider without ever talking about the original Pale Rider. We need to get back to covering Missing Link, Rise from the Ashes, and other popular one-year war stories. The V-fin was removed and replaced with goggle eyes. It is equipped with a pair of Vulcans, two beam sabers stored in the backpack, the XBR M79H2 Hyper Beam Rifle, which is the same rifle used by Unit 4, and a shield. It has a special weapon called the Shiki, which is a giant Gatling gun, a mega beam launcher, and a micro missile launcher, which Voltrons together into one weapon. He is with one subordinate in a Rasaid. He happens to spot a new model with a golden sheen. This is the Hyaku Shiki Kai mass production type. The MSR 00100S Hyaku Shiki Kai mass production type is a modified variant of the Hyaku Shiki Kai. The mass-produced variant removed the wing binders and replaced it with a 6-tube multi-purpose launcher, which brought down the cost. Other weapons include an I-Field beam saber, the BRM-87 beam rifle, and the AE ZIM-C Baz 531 300mm clay bazooka. The Hyaku Shiki Kai takes down the Rasaid. Back on the ship, one test pilot is frustrated that he is put on standby. This is Lieutenant J.G. Rasaid Glendon. They can't afford to lose a test pilot and a prototype, so he has to remain on standby. He throws his comm device. He thinks the prototype should be used in situations like this. The prototype is covered in a tarp. The thrusters on the Hecate are malfunctioning, but they have to push it to its full potential. They go full speed and deploy a beam dispersal screen. This looks similar to how the nukes work in Cosmic Era 71 during the attack on Alaska. Although not nuclear powered, this seems to arc a beam towards the debris and shoots it out of the way, clearing a temporary path. Things get bumpy on the ship. Mobile Suit pilot Ensign Kurkata Muasato gets hit in the head by something. It happens to be a Hato. The Hecate pushes through the debris, leaving the Hyaku Shiki in the dust, literally. Their thrusters are busted, so they escaped in a direction they didn't necessarily want. Rasaid looks at a picture of him and his best friend. Several days later, they make it to the outer edge of the lunar orbit. Kurkata is arguing with Ensign Valu Kidu about how stupid it is to push through in their current state. They are now adrift out in space. Robinson comes in and tells them that it is Command's duty to figure out a plan. Their job is to be ready to fight at a moment's notice. They talk about Paptimus Sirocco working with Axis. Rasaid is hanging out in the back, and he says that once they finish off the AU, they will just turn on one another. Robinson wonders if they could use the prototype for diplomatic reasons. Rasaid slams his hands down and yells if he was able to sortie, Wahila wouldn't have died. He goes to check on maintenance. Kurkata tells the team that Rasaid and Wahila were comrades before they were assigned to the Hecate, so it is understandable that he is upset about losing his comrade. Ensign Letta Shia is there as well. On the bridge, Okarinu reports that they have lost all of their Marasaids during the last battle. They only have 3 reserve Pale Rider D2s to work with. They lost a bunch of mobile suits, but their mobile suit team is still strong. The problem is that during the attack, they lost 3 security personnel, 1 engineer, and all of the technicians who were on loan from New new type labs. Wow, it sucks to be them. Those new type lab techs should have watched that one scene from Clerks.
My friend here is trying to convince me that any independent contractors who were working on the uncompleted Death Star were innocent victims when they was destroyed by the rebels.
Lycus wonders if testing the Gundam is out of the question. Ocarina wonders if she meant the werewolf. The perfectly timed attack, the heavy Minovsky particle dispersion. It feels like they knew about their location and their intentions. Lycus realizes the Titans aren't the monoliths they thought they were. There's too much secretive things happening that Bask seems to keep to himself. She finds that even the name werewolf leaves a bad taste in her mouth. Ocarina mentions that it is a beast that mimics a human, someone hiding amongst them, waiting to devour. Lycus finds him attractive as he talks about werewolves. Nice. Rasaid is mad and wants to launch the prototype. They don't have too many mobile suits to work with. One Hecate tech mentions that a new type lab tech needs to sign off before the prototype can be used, and all the new type lab techs are dead, so Rasaid is out of luck. Bureaucracy at its finest. Hecate's mechanic, Petty Officer First Class Talbot, tells him that the captain doesn't want anyone tampering with the Gundam. Rasaid goes to talk to the captain directly. Ensign Leto comes over and asks why Rasaid didn't choose another mobile suit. He could have launched in a Marusai, but he seems so fixated on the new Gundam. Rasaid was just a kid during the 1 Year War. He would often wake up in a panic, having multiple nightmares about a colony dropping on him. He heard legends about the exploits of the legendary Gundam. Then he learned that Amado was just a kid like him. Leto wonders if it is admiration. He supposes so, but he also saw the Gundam as someone that protects their home. He sees himself as a wolf trying to protect his ship, which is his home. He believes in the power of the Gundam. He finds himself embarrassed for saying such things. Leto comes in closer. Ooh, this crew is horny. That is when they get a red alert. It is a squad of Gaza Seas followed by what looks like a Guadon-class ship. It does have the gaudy-looking throne room like Haman's Guadon. Commanding the ship is the Axis Knight, Krat Nix. They prepare for a preemptive attack. He reminds his subordinate that now is not the time for chivalry. They will strike in the shadows if they must. He tells his men to prepare for a wolf hunt. Several months later, during the final stages of the Gryps War, a tribunal is commencing at Titan's number 13 secret chambers. So the Titans have a chamber of secrets? Watching a little too much Harry Potter on Green Noah 1? A man in a straitjacket with his head completely covered is giving a testimony. He talks about how they came under attack by Axis. This is the only survivor of the ship. They want to know what happened to the Hecate afterwards. He says that so many people died. The tribunal wonders if it was Axis or the Ayug. He says it was nothing like that. It was something from within. Someone that they thought they could trust. A wolf disguised as a human. The man begins crying. Or woman. I'm going to refer to it as a man for now. The Hecate launches the remaining mobile suit team. The Pale Riders begin fighting when they run into a new mobile suit. It is a Gallus G. At this time, they don't have any data on this mobile suit. The Gallus J will become Mashimer's mobile suit of choice during Double Zeta, but it is currently just a prototype. The AMX 101G Gallus G is bulkier than the Gallus J, but it contains the same armaments as its predecessors. It is equipped with a 2-tube missile pod, finger launchers, an energy gun, and the same beam rifle used by the Hyzak and Marusai after Axis took control of these units. It goes in and punches Krokata's Pale Rider. Krat Nix is bored that they aren't sending out their prototype. Rasaid gets into the prototype Gundam. On the battlefield, the Gallus G is doing some damage when Rasaid comes in with the Gundam Werewolf. This manga is so new that there isn't really any data on the unit yet. Most data comes from Gunpla marketing, so we need a push for Werewolf Gunpla. Also, I think the fact that the Gundam is a mystery actually helps with the narrative as it keeps the audience wondering. Robinson starts to yell at Rasaid for bringing out the prototype, but he tells him to save his complaining for later and to get the hell out of there. The Gundam sends out some weird bits to form a triangle. It sends out a beam and destroys the Gallus G. Nix gets a good look at the Gundam. He underestimated the unit and calls for a retreat. They recover Kokata in his escape pod. Lycus finds the Gundam both beautiful and ominous at the same time. Inside the Gundam, Rasaid's confidence is through the roof. The Gundam is running an OS called Gundam WW. When he gets back to the Hecate, Talbot apologizes for activating the Gundam, but Robinson and everyone seems to be cool with it considering he saved their lives. Inside the prototype, they are getting no response from the pilot. They send in a medical team. A part of this team is Medical Officer Marit Navreen. They open the hatch from the outside to find that Rasaid is dead. This wasn't a mobile suit attack. It wasn't an accident. This looks like a murder. Possibly the first murder to happen within a mobile suit cockpit. But how? This is just the beginning of the madness. And that will do it for this episode. This new entrance into the mobile suit world has definitely piqued my interest. I don't even care about Universal Century or mobile suits. I'm just hyper-focused on the mystery at hand. That is a good sign that it is a captivating story, or at least an engaging opening. Let's see if this manga can continue with the intrigue. Next time, the crew will slowly start becoming paranoid as they first blame Talbot for killing Rasaid, and everyone begins pointing fingers. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember to not get too excited about piloting a new Gundam. It may turn out deadly. Peace.